Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this show on the road. I want to thank all of you for coming out here for my very best friend, Gerry Martel, and the introduction to the world of Gerry Martel Square. Wait, let me tell you how this all got started. My very best friend, Gerry Martel, passed away in February of 2019. And we had a memorial service for him at Christ Church in February. At that time, those of you that were there heard tell of Gerry's exploits during his lifetime, how he became known as Mr. Carr, as he became known as the Professor, and the many little anecdotes that people told about him. It looked like his legacy was assured. But as time went on and Fitchburg moved forward, his store, where he spent 50 years of his life, right here right where you're standing, was torn down, and CVS was put up. A little bit of his legacy went away then. When Rick Boscodden, where's Rick? Rick? When Rick moved Gerry Martel's business from Main Street to Pritchard Street, another little bit of his legacy faded. Well, I said to myself, I can't let that happen to a good friend of mine. So I sat down and wrote a petition to name this crossroads of the city of Fitchburg Gerry Martel Square. Well, in order to get that passed, it had a lot of political humps to get across, and I know that I needed my main man, who at that time was Ward 4 Councilor Mike Kishmarek, to help me push this through. He looked at my petition, thought it was a great idea, and took it forward to City Hall. On the way to City Hall, Amy Green also signed the petition. But naturally, before anyone else signed the petition, my better half, Linda Burns, signed it. So there was 4 of us on the petition. And when it finally went before the council, it was unanimously passed. So all the councilors that were there, I want to thank you very, very much for making this possible. Gerry Martel Square. It's part of a legacy that this man well deserves. And with everything else moved off Main Street, this is something that maybe in 25 or 30 years, when somebody's coming to Fitchburg for the first time, driving down Water Street, coming across the bridge, turning onto Martel Square to take a left and to take their first class at Fitchburg State, they'll probably turn around and say, hey, who is that guy Gerry Martel that they named this square after? And I'm sure they'll probably get on Google or whatever else they're using at that particular time and find out what a wonderful, kind, generous man Gerry was. At this time, I'd like to thank you for listening to me, and I'd like to introduce the mayor of our great city, Steve DiNatale.
Thank you, Joe. Also, thank you all for coming out. What a great turnout. Again, well deserved for an individual who was truly Fitchburg homegrown. Gerry was, he was your first, your prototype hot blank. You know what I mean, right? Because he was. He was. And when you think about his history, I'm going back, I'm going to date myself. I know Joe probably remembers these days, but he was a joke writer for Godfrey. What was that? Arthur Godfrey. Yeah, in New York City. But that would be Gerry. That's not surprising to me, you know, that he would be a joke writer for. And Arthur Godfrey at the time, arguably, had millions of viewers. It was when television was young and new. and Gerry was right there at the forefront of it. And it makes me smile just to think about that. But we had a celebration from him back in 2017, his 90th birthday. And again, the turnout was the same as it is today. And we're so happy. I want to say thank you to Joe Byrne for pushing this petition through, and for the councilors and the council in general for supporting it. It's important, and you know, we're here today to celebrate one of Fitchburg's finest. So without further ado, let me introduce Senator John Cronin.
It's great to be here with all of you today and join Mayor DiNatale, Representative Kushmarek, all the members of the City Council, and so many distinguished community members here today. So as you can all see, this is Gerry Martel Square now. But it's also Martel Square, and it's going to be referred to as Martel Square now and into the future. So, you know, behind Gerry was his beautiful wife, and so to mark and commemorate this occasion, it's my privilege to present Toddy with a citation from the Massachusetts State Senate, and I hope that it has a place of honor in the Martel family for a long time to come.
Our next speaker is Mike Kushmarek, our state rep.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is just amazing to finally get to this point. Gerry was somebody who was just larger than life, and I think anybody who lived in Fitchburg knew Gerry, if not by name, then by the car that he drove around, or the suits that he wore, or the jokes that he told. I'm glad he played one last joke on us, and I look forward to FATV capturing that moment of me looking up at horror at the tarp. But in all seriousness, I think Gerry epitomized a generation of individuals who served their city and their community. Behind everything in this city, you found a Martel, whether it was Toddy, Nadine, or Gerry. Every great institution, every act of community service, their name was associated with it in our city. And unfortunately, we don't see that in this generation, but hopefully we see that from the return in the next generation. And I think at the heart of our community was Gerry, inspiring community service, inspiring pride in one's community. And I told his family this right before, when my first day into the State House as a representative, introducing myself around to my new colleagues. People knew Fitchburg for one of three reasons: Fitchburg State University, Fitchburg Art Museum, or that awesome record store on the corner of the street near Fitchburg State. I can't tell you how many representatives first came to Fitchburg and continued to come to Fitchburg because of the record store. It gave a whole new perspective on who Fitchburg was and what Fitchburg had to offer. They wouldn't have been here without him. And once they came, they couldn't help but keep coming back. So I want to thank the entire Martel family. I want to thank Toddy for everything you do for our community, and Nadine for everything you do for our community. I want to thank Councilor Green, who co-petitioned to name the square. And this would not have happened without Joe Byrne. We get to stand here and speak at the microphone, but this was Joe and Linda through and through. And so, with that, I want to offer a citation for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts House of Representatives it says Nadine Martel. We put the legal name on there, but I think we know her as Toddy. And this was signed by the Speaker of the House and offered by myself. Thank you so much.
And I have a citation, Toddy, and Toddy is in the middle, so we included that because we know how important that is. And again, the entire citizenry extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued good fortune.
Again, I'd like to thank all of you for coming, giving up some of your most precious thing, which is time. So thank you again, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Gerry was a character. That's the only way you can describe him. Everywhere we went, nobody forgot him. He had that unforgettable personality. He was the life of the party, so to say. And you know, it was a true honor traveling with him, and just knowing him was an honor. And he taught me so much. And you know, to say he was a father figure, that's what I have to say. Great guy.
Well, this is a very appropriate place to be named for him. It was a happening place for 50 years. People came in for lessons, they bought instruments, they worked here, and they just hung out. People know this place everywhere.
Thank you, Marcus.
We are very proud, and the whole family is very appreciative of all the work that went into doing this. We are very thrilled to have this happening.
Everything he did revolved around his personality. You know, there's a saying, go big or go home. Well, Gerry had a saying, go Gerry or go home.